C.A.L.M.E.R was introduced by the psychosocial and mental health team in 2007, and it is a framework that helps to strengthen and support the work that our frontline responders do in the Red Cross. It's based on 6 different concepts, the first one being C, so consider. And when we talk about considering, we're talking about considering the different needs, the different risks involved in supporting people who are in distress, considering the impact that an event might have had on people, but also thinking about what resources we have in order to just respond to people when they're in need. The A stands for acknowledge, so acknowledging essentially what the difficult or strong emotions are going to be when we are supporting people, preparing ourselves for what the experience is going to be like, acknowledging how we ourselves are feeling, but also acknowledging what support that we will need. So L, listening, yes, active listening, but also approaching from a real kind of genuine curiosity about what that experience is like for that person, as well as coming at it from a very non-expert approach as well, knowing that the person themselves has experienced the crisis and is the expert in that experience. The M stands for managing. Managing what the most immediate needs and risks are in that situation, but also managing the expectations, being very clear about what our roles are and what we can and what we can't do in support for that person. And then also managing any immediate threats to safety in that situation. The E is about enabling. When we talk about enabling, very often when you've had an experience which has overwhelmed you, an experience that's unexpected, it takes away a sense of control that we feel, that we have in our lives. And enabling is very much about giving that person that sense of control back, telling them what choices they have, what options they have, not just saying it in the time, but saying it and repeating it, because very often during a crisis, we don't retain the same amount of information that we normally would on a regular basis. Helping them to think about what kinds of social networks they have and what kind of social support they have, and getting them reconnected with friends and family who can help them on their process of recovery, and really starting to take back that control. And then the R very much around resourcing. So thinking with the person what tools, what resources they need, what services that are available to them in order to start making choices, positive choices, to take back that autonomy and to find ways to sustain their well-being. Inherent in the C.A.L.M.E.R framework is the reminder to stay calm, and staying calm is so important when we're working with people who are in distress. Staying calm helps us to stay mentally focused. It helps us to be mindful of alternatives or solutions we might not have had before. And also, I think, and most importantly, it helps us to promote a sense of calming for that person as well. Helping people to stay calm in a crisis not only reduces the risks of stress and trauma for them, it also helps them promote a sense of recovery faster, as well as can even help with wound healing if they've been injured. Very often it's the unexpected that threatens to overwhelm us and our sense of being able to cope in times of distress. The C.A.L.M.E.R framework gets us to think about in advance some of the situations that we encounter and what resources we have to prepare ourselves to go into those situations. The British Red Cross frontline responders very often work with people who have gone through some form of crisis, who have lost their loved ones, who've lost their homes, or have lost their health. And that means that the work that we ourselves do is quite trauma exposed. It enables staff a clear framework to help them feel more confident and more competent when they work with people in distress, to be themselves more able to cope with the impact that that kind of work has on them over time, and also helps them to think about their own needs in sustaining themselves moving forward. And that's the other side of the C.A.L.M.E.R framework as well. It reminds us to think about not just our own needs, but also the needs of our teams as well. It helps to build team resilience, individual resilience, promote a sense of efficacy in the work that we do, and helps to provide more meaning and hope in the work that our frontline responders do on a regular basis. How do we embed the C.A.L.M.E.R framework in all of the practice that we do as an organization? What it looks like in our policies and procedures, how it features in our inductions, how it features in the professional development that we offer our staff and volunteers, but also how it involves our practice as managers as well, how we look at how we brief our staff, how we induct our staff, also how we diffuse with our staff after a long day of work. And I think the most important part of the C.A.L.M.E.R framework is that actually as an organization that we give permission to our staff and volunteers to actually have time to stop and reflect on the nature of their humanitarian work, the different resources they need to become even more successful in responding to people's needs, and also the impact that that kind of work has on themselves.